So last time we finished the first chapter. Today we will start reading the second chapter. I think the second chapter. Ironic unhappiness. It's common in our day, as it has been in many other periods of the world's history, to suppose that those among us who are wise have been through all the enthusiasms of earlier times and have become aware that there is nothing left to live for. The men who hold this view are genuinely unhappy, but they are proud of their unhappiness, which they attribute to the nature of the universe and consider to be the only rational attitude for an enlightened man. Their pride in their unhappiness makes less sophisticated people suspicious of its genuineness. They think that the man who enjoys being miserable is not miserable. This view is too simple. Undoubtedly, there is some slightly compensation in the feeling of superiority and the insight which these sufferers have, but it's not sufficient to make up for the loss of simpler pleasures. I do not myself think that there is any superior rationality in being unhappy. The wise man will be as happy as the circumstances permit, and if he finds the contemplation of the universe painful beyond a point, he will contemplate something else instead. This is what I wish to prove in the present chapter. I wish to persuade the reader that, whatever the arguments may be, reason lays no embargo upon happiness. Nay, more, I am persuaded that those who quite sincerely attribute their sorrow to their view about the universe are putting the cart before the horse. The truth is that they are unhappy for some reason of which they are not aware, and this unhappiness leads them to dwell upon the less agreeable characteristic of the world in which they live. For modern Americans, the point of view that I wish to consider has been set forth by Mr. Joseph Wood Crouch in a book called The Modern Temper. For our grandfather's generation, it was set forth by Byron. For all time, it was set forth by the writer of Electricity. Sorry, I couldn't pronounce the name. Mr. Crouch said, "Ours is a lost cause, and there is no place for us in the nature universe, but we are not. For all that, sorry to be human, we should rather die as men than live as animals," Byron says. There is not a joy the world can give like that it takes away when the glow of decay. The author of Ecclesiastes, wherefore I praise the dead, better is he than both they, which hath not yet been, who hath not seen the evil work that is done before the sun. All these three pessimisms, I need to check the pronunciation for this one. Wait a second. Three pessimists arrived at this gloomy conclusion after reviewing the pleasure of life. Mr. Crouch has lived in the most intellectual circles of New York. Byron swam the Hellespont and has innumerable love affairs. The author of the Echo, even more varied in his pursuit of pleasure. He tried wine, he tried music, and all of that sort. He built pools of water. He had men servants and maid servants and servants born in his house. Even in these circumstances, his wisdom departed not from him. Nevertheless, he saw that all is vanity, even wisdom. And I gave my heart to know wisdom, and to whom madness and folly I perceived that this also is vexation of spirit. What is this? Vexation. And I give my heart to know wisdom and to know madness, and fully I perceived that, and this is also vexation of spirit, for in which wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow. His wisdom seemed to have annoyed him. He made unsuccessful effort to get rid of it. I said in my heart, go to now, I will prove thee with myth. Therefore enjoy pleasure, and behold, and also is vanity. But his wisdom remained with him. Then I said in my heart, as it happened to the fool, so it happens even to me. And why was I then more wise? Then I said in my heart, that is also is vanity. Therefore I hated life because the work that is worth under the sun is grievous unto me, for all is vanity and vexation of spirit. People may be said about pools of water, the making of a new book is certainly vanity. It may be said about pools of water, the making of a new book is certainly vanity. If we can show that the doctrine of Elsass is not the only one open and wise man, we need not trouble ourselves much with the later expression of the same mood. In an argument of this sort, we must distinguish between a mood and its intellectual expression. There is no arguing with a mood. It can be changed by some fortunate event or by a change in our bodily condition, but it cannot be changed by argument. I have frequently expressed myself the mood in which I feel that all is vanity. I have emerged from it not by means of any philosophy, but owing to some imperative necessity of action. But some imperative necessity of action. If your child is ill, you may be unhappy, but you will not feel that all is vanity. You will feel that the restoring of the child to healthy is a matter to be attended to, regardless of the question whether there is ultimate value in human life or not. A rich man may, and often does, feel that all is vanity, but if he should happen to lose his money, he would feel that his next meal was by no means vanity. The feeling is one born of a too easy satisfaction of nature needs. The human animal, like others, is adapted to a certain amount of struggle for life, and then by means of great wealth, homo spending can gratify. What does this mean? Sapiens, Homo sapiens can gratify all his whims without effort. The mere absence of effort from his life removes an essential ingredient of happiness. The man who acquires easily things for which he feels only a very moderate desire concludes that the attainment of desire does not bring happiness. If he is of a philosophic disposition, he concludes that human life is essentially wretched, since the man who has all he wants is still unhappy. He forgot that to be without some of the things he wants is an indispensable part of happiness. So much for the mood. There are, however, also intellectual arguments in the Ecclesiastes. Let's check the pronunciation for this man. Ecclesiastes. Rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full. There is no new thing under the sun. There is new remembrance of former things. I hate all my labor which I have taken under the sun, because I should leave it unto the man that should be after me. If one were to attempt to set up these arguments in the style of a modern philosopher, they would come to something like this. Man is perpetually toiling, and the matter is perpetually in motion, yet nothing abides. Although the new thing that comes after it is in no way different from what has gone before. A man died, and his herd reaps the benefits of her labors. The rivers run to the sea, but their waters are not permitted to stay there. Over and over again, in this purposeless circle, men and things are born and die without improvement, without permanent achievement. Day after year, they are. Solomon, if he were wise, wouldn't plant fruit trees of which his son is to enjoy the fruit. But in another mood, how different all this looks. No new things under the sun. What about skyscrapers, aeroplanes, and the broadcast speeches of politicians? What did Solomon know about such things? If he could have heard on the wireless the speech of a Queen of Sheba to her subjects on her return from his domination, would it not have consoled him among his? If he could have had a press cutting agency to let him know what the newspaper said about the beauty of his architecture, the comforts of his harems, and the discomfitures of rival sages in argument with him, could he have gone on saying that there is no new thing under the sun? It may be that these things wouldn't have wholly cured his pessimism, but he would have had to give it a new expression. Indeed, one of Mr. Cruch's complaints of our time is that there are so many new things under the sun. If either the absence of the presence of novelty is equally annoying, it would hardly seem that either could be the true cause of despair. Again, take the fact that all the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full. Unto the place from where hence the rivers come, then there they return again, regarded as a ground for pessimism. This assumes that travel is unpleasant. People go to health resort in the summer, yet return again unto the place where hence they came. This does not prove that it's futile to go to health resort in the summer. If the water were endowed with feeling, they would probably enjoy the adventure circle after the manner of Shirley's Cloud. As for the painfulness of living things, a matter that may be looked at from two points of view. From the point of view of the air, distinctly less disastrous, nor is the fact that all things pass in itself any ground for pessimism. If they were succeed by worse things, that would be ground. But if they are succeed by better things, that is the reason for optimism. What are we think of? As Solomon maintains, they are succeed by things exactly like themselves. Doesn't this make the whole process futile? Futile. Empathetically not, unless the various stage of the circle are themselves painful. The habit of looking to the future and thinking that the whole meaning of the present lies in what it will bring forth is pernicious one. There can be no value in the whole unless there is a value in the parts. Life is not to be convinced on the analog analogy of melodrama in which the hero and heroine go through incredible misfortunes for which they are compensated by a happy ending. I live and have my day. My son succeeds me and has his day. His son in turn succeeds him. What is there in all this to make a tragedy about? On the contrary, if I live forever, the joy of life would inevitably in the end lose their savior. As it is, they remain perennially fresh. Perennially, I said they remain perennially fresh. Okay, that is today's reading. Let's meet the next day and reading around this time. Thanks for reading with me. I'm little pear, sorry. Okay, see you next time. Have a good night.